My whole family really likes the juiciest of fruits. Cantaloupe, watermelon, mango. Once one is cut, we swarm into the kitchen for a impromptu meeting about whatever the most important topics are. Topics like who has the most realistic dog bark, or what ice cream flavor is the best. I'm more of that smooth, decadent, classic chocolate guy myself. I mean, we're still talking about ice cream here. I can see how that description could be sort of confusing. So one day I'm carving up a watermelon and the family starts to crowd the kitchen with just joy and laughter. Everyone dives in to get a few pieces. And as the meeting starts to commence, all you hear is this chain reaction of sounds of displeasure. The watermelon tastes like onions and garlic, pretty much a whole 7-layer dip. Any idea why? Add your guess into the comments. I'll share the rest of the story at the end of the video. Today's recipe is sort of a play on sesame sauce to make a crispy grilled sesame peach tofu. No worries, if you're not a griller, I will also explain how to do this in a skillet. Also, if you don't have tofu or just don't eat it, you could use soy curls or a store-bought plant chicken substitute or even chickpeas, but we would need to use a skillet for the chickpea method. We're starting our recipe off making our peach preserve. This preserve tastes best when using ripe, medium firm Freestone peaches. If you're like me and somehow can always only get your hands on clingstone peaches, after peeling, simply use your knife to cut tightly around the seed. Lesson number 179, never fight lions, bears, or clingstone peaches. They will always win. What's great about making your own preserves is the possibility you give yourself. You can control the sweetness if you want to be careful of your sugar intake. You can control the type of sugar, keeping in mind different sugar will result in different taste and color sometimes. You could also choose to make it organic, as sometimes your local store may not carry it. Although if you do a store-bought version, you could have a delightful shortcut to a recipe ready in, say, 15 minutes. From here, we're grilling our tofu. Skewer choice is our first focus. You can certainly pull this recipe together without using skewers, but if you're planning to purchase some, I would go for like a longer version of the paddle skewer, because your typical long toothpick version of a skewer will act like a gimbal and have your tofu kind of set in place as you're trying to flip and rotate it. It's kind of hard to explain, but if you can imagine a foosball table and instead of the little person being upright and when you turn the knob for them to kick or move, they just stood upright still, that's pretty much what would happen with your tofu. I really hope that made sense. Although if you use super firm tofu, it is so tight on there, honestly, it doesn't matter what kind of toothpick skewer thing you use. When grilling almost any vegetable, try to keep your grill heat somewhere between that 300 to 350 range, kind of known as like medium heat on the grill. To make your prep easier, you saw me cut the tofu into long strips. This speeds up our prep time. We use less skewers. We also have less pieces of tofu to pay attention to and flip over. And you can simply cut the strips into cubes after you're done. Did you take notice that I added cornstarch to the recipe table, but didn't end up using it? This is because I would typically do this recipe inside of a skillet. Toss the tofu in cornstarch, cook it in a skillet with a little bit of oil to get that extra crunchy, crispy exterior, then pour in your sesame peach sauce. If you choose to do chickpeas, you can pretty much do away with the cornstarch and do a quick cook in the skillet just to get a little bit of crisp on the outside, right before adding in your sauce. That would be it. Oh, did you guess what happened to the watermelon from earlier? Well, I happened to cut my watermelon on my vegetable cutting board and not my fruit cutting board. What a disaster. Oh, and it doesn't matter how long you wait or if you try to wash it off in like the sink. Not that I tried. Either way, it still tastes like watermelon salsa, which might be good, but not when it's unexpected. For this recipe, head on over to my website, makeitdairyfree.com, where you can also print it or check out the links in the description. I really appreciate the support on my new membership program and on my new socials, which are also in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Until next Sunday, believe in good. Peace.